So do we have a breakout coming here in the markets? Let's get into it with our daily SPY SPX analysis. Today is Thursday, April 24th, 2025. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel. We're just about at 5K now and just close to 1 million views here. And hopefully we can get it in this video. Also, come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. And the day trading has been amazing lately. Also taking a winner today too in TCNNF. A lot of marijuana stocks moving, and it is around that 420 time frame. But this administration, there's so many leaks here. It wouldn't shock me if we were getting news from the administration regarding the States Act or something else here. But nice moves there in MSOS. We saw some unusual call activity last week. And today, some members actually got some MSOS lottos. I do have TCNNF shares myself and just trimmed that recently. But nice moves there. In any case, do we have a breakout coming? Well, let's just run it back a little bit. Let's recap the day here. So we had a level this morning that we were looking at, and it was right around, we had this iron condor that was set up first thing in the morning around 5,300 to 5,450. That was kind of our range. And as soon as the market opened, I mean, that bottom half of it just peeled off. So you saw, we saw this in real time, IGV ripping and SMH ripping. As soon as those pumped in the morning, you see SMH getting a big bid. That bottom half got ripped off. And sometimes those iron condors, they'll act as an advertisement, meaning like the same person that's putting it on also wants to target one end of it. And you can see, obviously, they did just that here today as we are, pushing through the 5450 strike. Now, who knows? We might back off by the end of the day. It's only like 10, 15 points away. So we could back off by the end of the day and close there. But right now, that did get targeted pretty nicely here. And anybody who was betting on, and this is why I said this yesterday, it's just too easy for that gap fill. I mean, they teased it right, in the afternoon yesterday, and then they yanked it back. We even had a dip below one of our big levels here. 5380, not even talking about that trend line there, but 5380 was a big level that we've been looking at. We dipped below it and then reclaimed and just kind of squeezed higher. Again, it's just too easy, and that was kind of why my thesis here today was to play bull, and we did pretty nicely on that. Still holding a runner. Now, are we getting a little lofty? Maybe a little bit. I mean, I don't want to get too complacent, but at this point we're so close to 5500. I think the market wants to test that, and if we do get through that, we should see a significant breakout. Now, we might be a little tired here after this big move. We might need to consolidate a little bit, but we do have a catalyst potentially with Google after hours, and 160 seems to be a big level right now. The max range on either side here is 180 to 130. I know that's very wide, but I'm kind of thinking if it's bull, we're going to see about 165. Bear, I don't know. We'll see maybe like 140, 145 area. I think that would be kind of, yeah, I think 145 would be probably about it for the bear side, unless we really like blew out of that. So not a huge range priced in, but there's the tail ends are 180 to 130, so that's pretty wide there. So you do have the catalyst, and I think if we're gonna break this level, I mean, if you look at here, just an hourly chart, right? Let me just get rid of everything. So it just, use a 4-hour here, ascending triangle, right? Higher lows, equal highs. If I get the sense that it's going to take Trump or it's going to take a gap, right? They're going to have to just gap through it. But we have the higher lows here, the equal highs. It's hammering on this. It keeps going back to it. So it likely wants to test that and get through it. If we do get through it, we can squeeze pretty nicely. So we could see, this trend line here would be kind of your next area around 5650, 5675. And that would be a very good bull back test. Or even a bear back test potentially, depending on how you want to look at it. But right now, I still think the path of least resistance here is indicating that it wants to get through that. That doesn't mean we can't back off. It doesn't mean it can't fail. But I mean, I'm just seeing a lot of strength in semis today. That really led. IGV was strong all day. And take a look at this weekly chart. Very nice getting back above that area. We also have, like dollar yen holding up all right, at least on a relative basis. It's trying to get a bounce here. TLT has bounced, so like some of these internals are acting better. IWM has been leading, and QQQ is leading as well. And we talked about this trend line yesterday, which we gapped into. Whoops, we essentially gapped above and then back tested, and now we're pushing up. So structurally, it seems a little bit better here, and I think we'll at least test 5,500. That does not mean the volatility is over with or done. Volatility, the VIX is backing off. VIX futures though still holding a pretty good bid, holding above that 20 moving average. So I still think there's a lot more time on the clock. I've said that we should be choppy into the end of the month, and I think that'll be the case. But that doesn't mean we can't go higher first and then followed by another down leg. By the way, if you doubt me on this, when I say dealers are in control, I'm not joking. So you might think that they're not, but I'm telling you, this is what I said Monday in the trading room, 10:13 a.m. So watch 510, look for that level, and that was back when we were at 520. We had opened, we'd opened at about 520. We dropped down. And I said they're looking for 510, and we're up $35 from that. So that's 350 points on SPX. You do the math on the futures, you can figure out how much you can make off of that. But that was targeted. That was 100% targeted. We talked about that in the video the day after. Said if we bounce and reclaim that low, we can squeeze up, and we did just that. But that was a targeted move. And again, that iron condor this morning, that was a targeted move as well. That bottom half at 5,300, the second the market got a little pop, that just disappeared. They just cut that right off. And we went right up to that top end, and we're now through it. So whoever's selling calls there has got to be a little nervous here, because if they get some sort of a pump here towards the end, I'm not sure. If Google reports that right after the bell, we could hit that 5,500 area during. Actually, I guess SPX doesn't really have the call, so they should be safe-ish. But if we pump here in power hour, those are going to expire out of the money. So. I'm just telling you, dealers are in control here, not the macro right now. And right now, the macro has an ability to be controlled because we have a fresh OPEX cycle. So just some points to consider right now. Does that mean we're just going to go straight up and I'm saying to buy the market? No. I mean, right now, I'm just, at least for the near term, I'm just holding my runner, which is up about 100 points now in a few hours, which is pretty nice. But yeah, I mean, we're still in a very touchy, volatile environment where the liquidity is low. So something can get walked back and we can come right back down and fill this gap. But like I said yesterday, the market will go where you think it's going to go, but it'll take the worst route to get there, right? So it just seemed to me too easy. I saw a lot of the sentiment on X yesterday. It was, the gap, oh, the gap, just short for the gap. It's going to the gap, and usually, that'll kind of get reversed. It's just too easy, just way too easy. At least in my opinion, and so far that worked out. Anyway, nonetheless, Qs here, 470 is your next kind of big level. There is a growing amount of interest up there. You can see right now, I don't think I have it up there, but I have, let me just get you, I don't even think this is for today, but, yeah, this is for today, not tomorrow, but yeah, it's starting to shrink, but tomorrow it still has that, we still have that 5,500. On QQQ, it is, there's a lot of interest at 470. So if you wanted to just take a look at that, but anyway, yeah, nice moves here. IWM, again, still got to get through that 195 area, then it can start to work back up towards 200. The Dow trying to close above 400 again. So nice positive reaction there. And another thing about the S&P too is, again, this is the first time we're decisively closing above the 20 moving average, right? This one kind of like a doji after a good close. This one, one day close. And this one, we gapped above it, failed, tested it, and then closed like kind of right on it. And now we're closing, well above it. So starting to see some repair done here. And I still think there may be legs to this bull side here. SMH, look at this big level. This, this is going to need to get gapped through, I think, right? Weekly chart, big nexus here, big decision point, at least in the near term. Again, IGV, right, right up at that 200 area. And then you got 96 right after that. I mean, that's a clear-cut level. Clear cut. Transport's red to green. So gapping down, still holding the inside bar, gap down, and nice rally back. 2-year was up, 10s and 30s. So again, TLT getting a bid. Let's see if we can reclaim yesterday's high, if we can do that. We start to work its way back towards the low 90s, but probably got a pit stop at 90 first. XHB held up well despite weak housing data. Actually pumped on the housing data. There it was, and it just bid on that. So good move there. So did VNQ. So VNQ we've noted has been much better lately too. XLF again red to green, gap down, closed green, up 1% right now, and again back above the 220 moving average. So good to see that for financials. KRE got to clear this gap window here, but not bad price action today in the financial sector. Broker dealers again holding up well, hammering on that 50 moving average again. You got that red bar right above it. That's going to be some resistance. Crude was all over the map today. It is ending up green, but not up a ton. Look at this, it's all over the map here. Yeah, we'll see. It's not a bad consolidation pattern. I think, you know, when you get these big moves down, usually you're going to get some sort of like up, sideways, and then back up, and that's kind of what I'm expecting here. It might have to back off a little bit more first, though. But so far, nothing really terrible there. You know, big level here, right? XLE held up well today, too. Still got a lot of work to do, but it's hanging in there. XOP, I mean, clear area, got to get clear 115, and then it's got a lot of space to about 120. Same thing with OIH, got to clear this area, then you can get back up to 240, 250. Nat gas here down 3%, so losing that $3 handle. Needs to hold that by the end of the week. Otherwise, it could be in a little bit of trouble here. So nat gas finally losing some steam there. Dollar was down today, but not a ton. It's not a ton. I got to clear 100. I'd like to see a weekly close back above 100 to get a little counter trend squeeze going in the DXY. So just a lot of dollar bears right now too, and I mean for good reason. But sometimes things get crowded and they got to go the other way. Gold here up a little bit, but no new highs. Is starting to look a little top heavy here. So, and that may be helping the market to rally a little bit too. Then you got silver here, which is flat, but nothing wrong with that. Inside hammer out of a huge up day. Weekly chart back above all the moving averages. Trend is up. Monthly chart trend is up. Oh, and daily, I guess technically. All this trend has kind of been flat, but it is above the moving averages. So maybe silver can catch up here, but 35 is a lot of resistance there still. Platinum inside day and palladium kind of a slight minor outside day. Nothing really too spectacular going on there. Copper up 0.5%, and that's still hanging in there okay too. Yeah, here, pull up, there we go, there's Bitcoin. Kind of a flat day, but it did test 91.5, and you know, it held up. So, you know, I could see it maybe getting to 95 right now, 96, but then it's going to need to consolidate. Look at all this. So anybody who bought here, anybody who bought in here is underwater. So they're likely going to be sellers right here. So it's going to need some time, or it needs to retreat first, you know, and then do one of those. I still don't think it's going to break out right now, but it could easily just stay in this range here, right? We'll just keep an eye on this, right? Just like it did last year, just consolidation until proven otherwise. So right now, yeah, Spider's holding up. We'll see. We got about 30 minutes left. We got Google earnings after the bell. I'll be covering that in the members live stream later. And we'll see if that's a catalyst to push us past 5,500 or not. If that does happen, we can squeeze pretty hard if bulls can hold the gains. But if 5,500 rejects, then you know we'll have to do some more backing and filling. But and again, I don't think bulls are out of the woods yet. And maybe, you know, I don't want to get complacent here. But again, I don't think that's the story. I think right now the story is bear complacency, at least from yesterday to today, and even in Monday. I mean, we talked about this, like everybody was so bearish Monday, and I think that's why it went the other way. And that little afternoon fade yesterday kind of set this rally up here, because I think a lot of people were playing for that gap fill, and it doesn't mean it won't fill, but again, a lot of the time it's got to go fake you out first. So anyways, guys, I'll wrap it up here. Again, you guys take care. Don't forget to come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.